Do you know anything really about your doctor or what they're all about, or whether are weird or have any kind of weird things that they're doing? Hi, I'm Frank Spector, medical malpractice lawyer in Maryland and in DC. Thanks for watching today's video. Today's video is going to be a disturbing one because there have been allegations made more frequently of doctors who are sexually exploiting patients, who are doing very nasty, sadistic, unbelievable things to patients. You may be wondering why I'm wearing this stethoscope around my neck. Well, I'm wearing it because just because I have a stethoscope on doesn't mean that I'm a doctor. And even if I am a doctor, just because I have a stethoscope on or a lab coat on doesn't mean that I'm necessarily normal. Now, in my experience, we have had from time to time very disturbing stories about doctors who take advantage of patients. I'm going to read to you from a local newspaper in New York that talks about this urologist, Darius Paduch. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right. And he is a urologist in New York. So I'm just warning you right now that this information is pretty graphic. So if it's not something you're comfortable with, you should stop the video right now. Okay, so I'm going to read to you from this local report. It says here, a disgraced Manhattan urologist who's accused of sexually assaulting dozens of patients performed unnecessary surgical procedures without anesthesia so he could inflict pain on them, and later got the alleged victims hooked on opioids. That's according to a new lawsuit that has been filed. It says the bombshell allegations were made public. He's faced a slew of other litigation and criminal charges involving the alleged abuse of over 70 men and children who sought his medical care. The article goes on to describe a very sick individual who sexually exploited, took advantage of patients, had them do procedures and other things that they thought were part of their medical treatment, but it was only because of his sexual desires and his dark, dark, dark nature. You know, I've said in other videos, when we go to a doctor, we have a level of trust. I mean, we're exposing ourselves physically to a doctor. A doctor does physical examinations on us where the doctor's touching us, sometimes in very private areas. And we trust that the doctor is doing these things, with medicine in mind and not with any sick purpose. But this is a complete abuse of trust. And I think that when a doctor does this, it's, to me, one of the most blatant breaches of trust that we can have in any professional. Yes, we have stories about people who steal money, and we have people who defraud other people. I'm not making excuses for that. But when a doctor takes advantage of a patient, like this doctor did or was alleged to have done in New York, it's a complete breach and a breakdown of the medical system, because people are going to be scared to go to doctors. They're going to think the doctor is taking advantage of them, and that's just not right. Unfortunately, this is not an isolated incident. And there have been other instances. There was a famous case of the doctor who was the doctor for the University of Michigan Gymnastics team, and he was taking advantage of those young women, doing medical examinations that they thought were supposed to be helpful, but it was only to fulfill his very, very dark, dark fantasies and his sick, sick, depraved actions. And so what can we do about this? We have to be on guard. We have to make sure that when we go to a doctor, I've said in other videos that we have to research the doctor. You have to make sure that the doctor doesn't have any kind of complaints. There are many resources to do that. In Maryland, we have the Maryland Board of Physicians. You can look up and see if a doctor's had anything done to his license or her license. We can check the Maryland court system through the Maryland Case Judiciary. So if you go into Google and you look up Maryland Case Judiciary search, you can look at cases. You can actually type in someone's name and see if there's been any criminal charges against them. Just because they're a doctor doesn't mean that they have been above the law. They may have criminal charges against them, maybe cases of assault that would give you some clue that this doctor shouldn't be trusted. But the sad truth is that we don't know. And a lot of times these doctors who were kept in the dark, those of us who were kept in the dark about a doctor's sick behaviors, there's no way for us to know that. And only after these things come to light do lawyers step in and try to make things right. This could never, ever be made right in terms of the emotional trauma that these patients have to suffer. My heart goes out to all of them. So just be on guard, be careful, and speak up. And if there's something that doesn't sound right to you, doesn't sound appropriate to you, tell the doctor to stop. Have a nurse come in the room to watch the doctor along with you. Don't be in the room by yourself. you can leave. You can report the doctor to the authorities. So just don't stand by and think that the doctor's always doing this thing for the best intentions. If something doesn't smell right to you, then it's probably no good. Trust your own instincts. So I'm going to be doing another video about another situation that happened in Baltimore that I was involved in. So I hope you take the time to watch that video. Hope you found this video helpful. I know it was disturbing content. If you would please hit that subscribe button. That way you can take advantage of all of my content, and you can also make sure that you can see all of the videos. You can go to my website, frankspectorlaw.com, where I have a lot of great information about medical malpractice. Also, please watch my YouTube channel at Frank Spector Law. I look forward to seeing you in another video.